Welcome to Football or Soccer with Sam Palmer, Tony Taafe, and we have got two special guests with us today. Sam Collins has been called back, second cap.
Good morning. Good morning.
And Christopher Dyson, another Scouser.
Thanks, mate. It's great to be here.
And we've got Tony back, and we've got, I suppose Tony's probably the happiest man in the room today. He has gone off sneakily last week to Mexico. He's got himself engaged. And Liverpool has done Real Madrid and Man City in a week. That is not a bad week, Tone.
What a week! What a week! Yeah, what a week! And I'm glad that you folks didn't cast me out for missing an episode to get engaged.
Yeah, well,
what a privilege!
Bit of a steward on it. I've got to be honest with you.
We were more concerned that you had the factor 50 with you, Tony.
Well, let's get into it. So, brilliant. How was Mexico?
Yeah, brilliant, mate. I mean, we went to Mexico City, which is not the typical way that most people see Mexico. Amazing. I've been there a couple of times. It's a great place, and it was a good result for me there as well.
Yeah, blinding result for you. She's finally making an honest man of you. We thought you might need some skin grafts after you got back from Mexico with the heat there. Yeah.
No, it was pretty cold actually.
Was it?
Yeah, Mexico City's not like your Cancun's and the Cabos of the world. It's proper Mexico.
Yeah, well,
a bit chilly.
You had some good results this week, so you two, I think there's going to be a bit of a focus this week on Liverpool.
I was going to say it.
Well, you've had a good week as well.
Well, Chelsea had a good week, but walking into this morning knowing that it was going to be with two Liverpool fans, one having just beaten Real Madrid and the other obviously City this weekend, it was going to be they were going to be feeling rather pleased with themselves this morning, to say the least.
How are we feeling? So we started with Real Madrid.
I mean, they've been our hoodoo, haven't they, for the last, I think 2009.
Yeah.
And I've been to those two finals, which were heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that one felt great. I mean, it's been an incredible season, obviously, for Liverpool so far. I mean, I don't think anybody saw this coming.
No.
And
Definitely
so, yeah, I've got a big smile. I'm just hoping it stays. It's still early, so I'm trying not to get carried away.
And then Sunday, obviously, yesterday, Man City, it was a total domination first half, wasn't it?
I mean, that's got to be one of the most impressive first 35 minutes of football that I've ever seen that team play. I mean, they are the best team in the world, Man City, regardless of the form they're on. And, to go, and they've also, obviously, they've killed us the last 6 out of the last 7 seasons. And so to see our team do that yesterday, was... I was worried we were going to get punished for not putting more away, obviously, because they've got so much talent. They can punish you with 1 second. But my God, I mean it's a good time to be a Liverpool fan. It's been difficult the last 7. I'm taking it. So,
what do you reckon, Tone? What was what did Liverpool do right? What did they get right in these 2 games?
I don't think. On the last 2 games.
Yeah.
I don't think they could have done much wrong. Mate, I mean, they just showed up because Real Madrid are not themselves, City are not themselves, and I'm here for it. Like, I love it. I love that they're not themselves because the best things we can do when other teams are not themselves, the same as what other teams do when Liverpool are not ourselves, is take advantage of it. And yesterday I was a little bit worried that we weren't taking advantage of it.
yeah.
It got to like 60. What was it, Chris? The second goal was on 70, I think.
It was around there. Yeah, I agree with you.
Van Dijk could have had a hat-trick, couldn't he?
Well, when Salah missed that chance, that was when I thought if they don't start putting more of these away, they could end up letting one slip.
Who played that ball in for him as well? Was it a one-on-one, Salah's?
It was.
Didn't they win? They won back possession.
Yeah, it was
like
1-on-1.
Yeah.
But watching that game yesterday, you're right, Tony, in saying that right now, I mean, you have played Real and City, probably in the best time to play them. Obviously, they're nowhere near what they were last season or in Champions League finals gone, but you can only beat what's in front of you. So
exactly.
the fact that you're doing that is
Liverpool.
It's the right move.
Being in better. Sorry, mate. Go on.
No, I was just saying it's the fact that you can only beat what's in front of you, and you guys are doing very well right now. Watching that game yesterday, I wasn't particularly worried for Liverpool. I honestly thought
neither was I.
In seasons gone by, I was like, this is not one of those games where Liverpool look like and I think a lot of that also helps with the manager as well. Like, one of the things that I've noticed with Arne Slot is that he is a lot less emotive and screaming and shouting on the touchline than Jurgen Klopp was.
Yeah.
And now looking back onto that, you can kind of sometimes think, well, maybe that wasn't necessarily the right thing to do all the time in those big high pressure games, because that emotion then went on to the players and then things happen for whatever reason. But this guy just seems so cool, calm, collected, and he's getting you guys results. I mean, 18 wins out of 20 games is phenomenal. Phenomenal.
No one saw it coming.
Yeah, and listen, you'll do very well to get me to criticize Jurgen Klopp in any way whatsoever, because the man is up there with every top manager that Liverpool have ever had. But I do understand what you're saying. I like Slot. I'll be honest with you. When he first came in, I was like, "Is this Ten Hag Mark II?"
Well, I think everyone was. No one really from England knew who he was. I think Xavi Alonso was the first choice.
Right.
Yeah.
He was the second choice. But the way they've come in is just incredible.
I mean, so I'm with you, by the way. Like, you'll never hear me say, I mean, Jurgen Klopp was God and is God still for me. I mean, he was the best thing that we've ever, in my lifetime, that we've ever seen in Liverpool. And, but it feels like this guy's been able to, maybe get an extra 5, but like this team, because he hasn't brought anyone in, obviously.
No.
And it's almost like he's been able to go, if you play this team just like this, they'll be 5% better.
Yeah.
And which is incredible. And I'm with you. Like, when he first, I was unsure, obviously, like or uncertain. And there was a couple of things he did when he was first being talked about the job, and he was talking about it before he got it.
Yeah.
And that made me go, oh, don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the Liverpool way. And, Jurgen was still in the job, and he was talking about, and he was answering reporters' questions instead of, when you'd hope he'd say no. And I'm going, oh, no, who's this guy chatting about it? And he's not even got the job yet.
Yeah.
But then, as it's obviously, I mean,
But I think Jurgen also, that bit, I always think back to that bit on the pitch at the end of the season when Jurgen done the Arne Slot chant.
Oh, for sure.
Do you know what? That was a real, like, when you think of a way, like, a credit to a man, like, not many people would do that.
No.
Let me tell you,
Klopp's a class act.
Yeah, that was a class act to do that, wasn't it?
Jurgen Klopp is a better man than he is manager, and he's the best manager in the world. That's my stance on it, and I mean that. I mean, he's an incredibly and the different, and like, everyone was wondering, how are we going to fill those, and who's going to follow that? Everyone thought it was going to be David Moyes, with
Man United,
Alex Ferguson, or Souness with when Kenny left. Back, I'm old enough to remember that, and this is nothing short of remarkable.
And I probably would say it's probably why Xavi Alonso never took it.
Yeah.
Because he probably thought, I don't want to be that next man.
It's a fair point.
After Klopp,
Like,
yeah.
I would think that's why he never took that job.
Yeah.
And he probably thought, why? You got to go in there, you got to go and perform miracles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They love him. Am I going to taint my reputation with the Liverpool fans? I think there's probably that. But I think, without a doubt, he's done. One thing I took from, I want to just discuss quickly. I don't think I've seen a performance in a long time from Conor Bradley, the right back, against Madrid.
Phenomenal.
He was man of the match.
He had an amazing game against Chelsea a couple of years ago, I think, and when he first came on the scene, and I think he scored against.
Yeah, I remember that.
He had an unbelievable game.
He was incredible.
Well, look, I think that's going to go a long way to the conversation we're probably going to have about the three
where
contracts.
We're going into,
Yeah, I mean, I think it probably would be the saddest, at least for me, if Trent did go, but maybe the easiest one to fill if you've got him to go in. And
good audition.
Conor Bradley looks mustard, doesn't he?
He looks so good. He looks so confident on the ball.
That
His
tackle.
tackling was incredible.
Yeah.
I think I've got to say, like, I am disillusioned with football at the moment. I hate it. I hate this playing out the back. I think it's nonsense. The amount of goals I saw again at the weekend.
Yeah.
Even Liverpool nearly did it with Van Dijk playing at the back. Wolves gave away penalties from playing at the back.
3.
City were playing at the back needlessly.
You guys,
Liverpool
West
don't
Ham.
do it. Forget West Ham. But Liverpool don't seem to. They're not obsessed with playing out the back.
No.
And I saw something against Real Madrid that I thought was. I haven't seen it I don't think I've ever seen it actually. They took a centre. I think it was from half time, where the centre halves were pushed up to the semicircle of the halfway line. It's that high, and they went back to the keeper, and the keeper went long. Now, it was in their half then. They actually lost the ball, but they then they rotated it again. And I thought, wow, so they're playing on the front foot. They're saying, we're going to put it in your half. The amount of times at the weekend that I saw 5 or 6 passes between centre halves, right backs, and keepers, to then the out ball didn't go over the halfway line to the winger, and it went straight back. Man City, I was watching it with my boy, and I went, look, let's come straight back, come straight back, come straight back. And you look and think, why are teams persisting doing this style of football?
When they're not good enough to do it.
Well, that's
Is it managers' ego, do you think?
Some of it is, I think, yeah.
I think it's the new way, isn't it? But you hit the nail on the head. You've got to be good enough to do it.
Yeah.
It's one thing, it being the right thing
And
to
there's
do,
only
but
one
you've
team
you've
that
got
are
to
really good enough
execute
to do it, and that's
why you don't-
Manchester City.
Yeah, it's why you don't see it in the
exactly.
Championship and why you don't see it in the lower league levels, because they're just not
And
good
the old
enough.
Barcelona team.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
not good enough to play out the
your
back.
defenders have got to be.
Like we're seeing Southampton
incredible.
doing it week after week after week. But then someone like Russell Martin's their manager, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So he might look at someone like Vincent Kompany last year, who refused to stop doing it, relegated a team because of it, and then went off to get the Bayern Munich
Well,
job.
do you know, but Southampton, look, they obviously, it was their mistake from that let us score. But you know, they looked dangerous. They looked like they looked nearly there. But again, they
But
weren't
if you haven't
quite
got the
good enough.
players, they're nearly.
That's right.
Is that what it is?
Agreed.
Southampton got absolutely.
Well, ironically,
filth by
the
VAR.
best teams don't actually do it all the time. Do
Well,
they?
that's my point
like
as well. I
City
don't
and
think they do. I
Liverpool,
think we think they
even
do.
Arsenal, they do it more often than not, but they don't do it all the time. And when you've got the likes of Southampton trying to do it every single time, it's bananas. It's silly. So the best teams have players that can make the decision, okay, this is the time to do it, this is the time not to do it. Whereas I think the other teams are terrified of the other team's managers, are terrified to not do it because it makes them look like, you know, a Sam Allardyce team, and that's disrespectful to Sam Allardyce because, you know, he wasn't a long ball merchant, but he was known for it. And the best teams don't do it. They don't. It's the middle to bottom teams that do it, and I think it's a manager's ego thing.
I do as well,
think
and I think it's like West Ham against
I
Arsenal,
think the
for
manager
example.
wants to get the next Bayern Munich job like Vincent Kompany.
Yeah, exactly. The West Ham game against Arsenal, they're battered 5-2. Playing this high line of a defence that's got no pace in it.
Yeah.
And the ball, you saw it go over Kilman's head. He's tried to get there. He's fell on the floor. They've just put the ball in. It's actually embarrassing.
It was.
Because they're not good enough to do it.
No.
So why would you keep doing something where you're not good enough to do it?
What should happen at West Ham, Sam? Go on.
I think I'm friends with the owners, so I know them personally, and I know they really care.
Yeah.
So I hate being critical of them, but West Ham is a really dangerous club.
So what Sam's saying, he's in the owner's pocket, so he's not going to criticise.
No, I'm going to be honest with it because I've been honest on Instagram this week, and funny enough, a few ex-players have contacted me as well to say I was completely right. But I think the club needs more structure. I think the owners are led by people they believe they've put in jobs to do a good job. And
Like Tim
Steidten, etc. I think they've actually listened to the fans saying they want them to step off, and they're letting the professionals do the job. Now, maybe they haven't got the right professionals in there doing the job and the right structure. I just, for the life of me, can't understand why a team like West Ham does not just copy Brighton's model of this is what we are. We're going to produce players.
Yeah.
Like I was talking with someone yesterday. Like we call ourselves the Academy of Football. We haven't produced a player
in years.
Well, okay, we're going to say Declan Rice.
What's the last play you produced, Sam?
Well, Declan Rice.
Well, he came from
But
Chelsea.
he came from Chelsea at like 14. So
Joe Cole, I would say, maybe the last one.
yeah, I was looking
Joe
at the
Cole?
strikers that West Ham's produced. I was
Defoe?
trying to think. Well, Defoe also came to us at 15 from Charlton.
Did
So we bought Defoe.
Okay.
We're talking 20 years ago now.
No. I actually was trying to think of the last striker West Ham produced who went on to like a top level striker, and I think it's Tony Cottee.
Jesus.
So that is, you're talking in the 80s.
In the 90s, yeah.
And we're calling ourselves the Academy of Football.
And early 80s, by the way, when he was at West Ham.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
that's what I mean. It's not like this is a long time ago.
God, I
So
remember him.
Jermaine Defoe, yes, but the other ones, last after Defoe was Freddie Sears, who went on to have a career in the leagues, but not
He was okay.
top league.
I remember didn't he score a
Scored
goal
his
on his
debut
didn't
against
he?
Blackburn.
I remember that.
But yeah, I don't think it is. I want to be, while we've got the Liverpool boys, I want to go back to, obviously, Carragher has come out and had a dig at Salah this week, and it's become quite fun in the media, actually, because did you see the interview with Salah and Van Dijk? And they said, do you want Jamie to interview? And he said, no, I don't think he wants to. Like,
Carragher's not too popular.
Carragher called him selfish.
Yeah.
What do you boys think of it?
You want to go first, Toe, or?
I mean, yeah, I'll go first. I don't think it was a dig at all, because we all love Salah, and I'm pretty certain that Carragher does too. But I made Carragher right.
Yeah.
It was before the biggest week that we've had in a long time, and if Salah was somebody who came out and spoke every week, and you could just take his comments as what they are, then you can just take it as what it is. But for all accounts, that he sought out the reporters after the game there, which I don't think he's ever done before. And before that week, listen, he
done it again this week, didn't he? He said it's my last game against Man City,
you could see himself kind of catch himself.
I mean,
you could see he was trying to, and then, but he couldn't help it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah, he's done it a few times. He did after the Man United game, didn't he? When he said,
he's got form with it,
my
hasn't
last game.
I think his agent has something to do with it as well.
That's a good point.
His agent's a right.
Well, look,
guy.
I think, look, Jamie Carragher, he's paid. I think the one thing what I love about Jamie is he tells it how it is. He doesn't, even if it's against his own team. And I think his comments were right. And obviously, the ardent Liverpool fans don't like that, but that's his job. His job is to be a pundit and be impartial to a certain extent and take that view. I'm going to give Mo Salah a bit of the benefit of the doubt. I think it was more that he was trying to tell the fans, Tony, that look, this isn't me. I want to stay, and I'm not being. They're not engaging, and I'm giving him a big benefit of the doubt there. I think as well, because, and to Sam, your point, the agent, what we don't know is
what he's asking.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because if Liverpool were to offer him a contract, he could just reject it.
Well, the answer is that if you're going to be open.
Be open.
Be open.
Yeah,
correct.
They've offered me 200 grand a week and a 1-year deal. I don't think that's good enough. Yeah. And then people go, but then that's actually what the club does not need at the moment. Yeah. But ultimately, people are asking him. You've got to remember, Salah is being asked this question probably 30 times a day by journalists. So he's probably, the one time he does speak, it's coming out and probably not how he wants either.
Though, Sam, he isn't being asked that question 30 times a day because he doesn't put himself in the way of journalists. Salah rarely sits there in a press conference for a pre-Champions League game, or definitely not a Premier League game press conference. So he isn't being asked that question. He's really protected Salah, and he protects himself really well, which is what makes him such
a great professional,
unusual.
right? So.
Yeah, so what would he said what makes him such a great professional? Now, here's the thing I thought of.
What makes him so professional, but it also is what makes this so unusual.
Yeah.
That because you saw the interview, right? You saw the video. The video is him standing outside the stadium talking to journalists. He doesn't do that.
No, look, so he has sorted out. He obviously, maybe he wants to stay as well.
I think he probably does.
He definitely wants to stay. There's no doubt about it.
I don't think he wants to go to Saudi. I don't think it's about money.
Not yet.
Maybe,
too good.
But to be fair, look, we're all working people. If someone's offering you a ridiculous contract, it's out.
It's hard.
400 million or something, whatever these silly numbers are, it's impossible to really turn it down. But if you look him, he's 32. He's not slipping off at all.
No.
In actual fact, he's probably at his peak this year.
I think he looks fitter, obviously.
Probably never drank in his life.
No.
He's Muslim, I believe.
Yeah.
So he's never drank. Maybe he eats well. He keeps himself in a very good shape. Does someone else, does City look at him and go, this is like a Man United Van Persie signing?
Yeah.
No one's actually talking about that. But actually, this is a free transfer for big money for You've got to give
that's
him
going to be the crime if he goes for free. That's
which
gonna
he's
be,
going for free.
Yeah.
I know. And I think, look, Liverpool have already bent for him. You know, they've got their way of doing it. And one thing I will say, I don't know if you feel the same way, but one thing I won't second guess is our owners. I mean, in the last 10 years, our owners have given us, you know, you can't fault FSG. I mean, for me, they can do no wrong.
Yeah, well, when you
They've
compare
done-
them to Tom Werner and whatever.
I
his name
mean,
was,
Yeah.
you know,
George
I've been
Gillette,
watching them
those
for
two
for
jokers.
40 years,
Yeah.
and then
Do you remember that? They literally bankrupted Liverpool.
Yeah.
100%. So look, these owners have come in and worked miracles for me.
Unbelievable.
And, you know,
They
their
have.
decisions.
I agree with that. Yeah.
And, you know, eras do come to... I'm old enough to remember Ian Rush going. And everyone said that was the end of Liverpool. And then John
Robbie
Aldridge...
Fowler.
Well, it was Aldridge, Barnes
Yeah.
and Beardsley. And then
Yeah.
they talk about that team maybe being the best ever Liverpool team, ever. And so, you know... Now, look, I'm not saying I want that to happen, because I
But
don't.
they've not got the money to replace them with if they lose all three.
yeah.
If they lose all three, I think that
they
would be a
do
disaster.
have
It's
Did you
terrible
say they
business,
don't
though.
have
We're
the
saying
money
they're
to
good
replace
business
them?
people, but it's terrible
But
business
again,
to get them where
must
they are.
know. Like they know a lot that we don't in terms
Yeah.
of who's coming up. You look at Conor Bradley. You look at there's other guys in our academy that look really dangerous. That's going to take a minute, obviously. But Van Dijk seems very comfortable, and
I can see him staying Van Dijk.
you know, I think
can
Salah.
see
I
him
think
staying.
I think they'll try and look. If Salah's asking for 3 years at stupid money, that's a difficult one, I think, because then you do get into the past 35. But if he's asking for, he deserves 2 under the same terms. I don't know. So what do you think? That's kind of what I. Because I just say he's
agree with that, mate,
he's
yeah.
never in
2
trouble.
with an option of a third, maybe.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
if you got him on 400 grand a week like that, that's
You're gonna
40
have to
million.
pay
It's going to
that,
take
yeah.
a lot more
You're going to have to pay treble that to
to
replace
get
him.
someone.
yeah.
That's what
And
I
then,
mean.
and
So
then that guy's wages.
And by the way, that's without paying wages.
That's right.
You'll pay
Yeah,
treble
and
that
signing on
without
fees and
paying
agent
someone's
fees and all that
wages.
stuff.
Yeah, it's
and
probably,
there's
you know,
not many people out there that can replace him
No.
No,
with doing the numbers.
no.
So he's kind of irreplaceable. He's got him in a good spot, I think. But
Yes, yeah.
I've got to be thinking, if I'm Man United, Man City, other teams, Chelsea, all these other teams, Madrid, Barca, you've got to be looking. PSG, I've heard today PSG are looking.
Bet they all are.
You've got to be looking and thinking, this could be a guy, like a Van Persie signing, that we go and get 2-3 years out of.
Yeah.
Because look, Lewandowski's 36.
Smashing
He's
it
still putting numbers in.
Unbelievable here.
Harry
different.
Kane, how old's Harry Kane now?
I think
Harry Kane's 30
I think
now, isn't he?
someone like
31.
Bayern, because the Bundesliga is a little bit more, it's a little less
Forgiving.
physical. Barcelona and Real Madrid, I think, would be a no-brainer for them to give him a 2-year contract
Yeah.
on a
Barca
free
probably couldn't afford
transfer
it.
would be a no-brainer.
They couldn't, I don't think they could do it.
PSG is a graveyard for football players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
know.
But he
Now-
could still get
nowadays.
that big money there, though. That's the and being a
But he
competitive
might as well go
league.
to Saudi at that point and double his money. You know,
I agree with that.
he might as
I
well,
think so.
rather than go to PSG, because who's gone to PSG and thrived?
No,
Is there
no
anyone?
one.
Agreed, Tom.
No one.
In
But
the
yeah,
last
He cares about his
Neymar
legacy,
already,
though,
didn't
at
they?
Liverpool. I think he'd like to try and,
although
a few
if you
more.
won the Champions League and the league,
it's a big if.
it's a
so
nice.
Don't even mention that in November or December.
I fancy Liverpool or Arsenal for Champions League this year. I really do. I think I think Arsenal will have never, and like Liverpool, will never get a better season to have a go at both.
You're probably right, by the way.
Arsenal just if Arsenal
All
keep
the big
Odegaard
teams
fit-
are floundering.
Yeah. Arsenal just have to keep Odegaard fit. I mean, I said it last week on the pod, but you just watch what he does. I mean, even against West Ham, he was unbelievable.
He was unbelievable.
He's-
Saka, he stepped it up another level.
Oh, it's just, yeah.
Declan Rice.
I wish Real Madrid would come back in and buy Odegaard back. I mean, because they got rid of Kroos.
Yeah.
They got rid of Kroos and they never really replaced him. But
But I don't think he's going anywhere. He looks like he's happy there.
He's
Although
such a-
if
he's
titles
such a
come
good
into
player.
it, like you might start looking, I want to win a title, I want to...
100%. If Arsenal don't win something this year, that's what I mean, Liverpool, you can never write anything off until it's mathematically impossible. But Liverpool, you would like to think that
Listen,
they've got
feet
the
on
ability
grid.
to
It's
go
9
away.
points, and we've got to play all
Yeah.
of you again.
Correct.
And we're going to not win every single game.
Correct. But
And
are
so-
Arsenal going to go on a 25 unbeaten game run and win everything? I don't think so.
Me either.
I don't think they will. Because the thing is you look at the 9 points that you're clear now. You've already played them at the Emirates.
That's right.
They traditionally never win at Anfield. So even if they don't win, you can call that a draw. they've still got to make up the other points from elsewhere. And City.
I can see it's only whether Liverpool get injuries to Salah, Van Dijk, because as well as Núñez, Gakpo, and Diaz are done, they're not at that level.
Gakpo's stepped it up in the last
massively.
He has, yeah.
Really done well. Like, a lot of people have stepped up, like Curtis Jones.
Curtis Jones has been
Curtis Jones.
But he didn't even start at the weekend.
England's next superstar. I'm telling
I
you.
don't know about that.
Who? Curtis
He's
Jones?
he's been threatening to be one of the best players in the country for 3 years, maybe 4 years. But this year, he can't. That lad can't put a foot wrong.
I mean, he's a very good player. I don't think he's a world superstar.
No,
Well, it seems like Arne
England's
Slot's got the
next
best out of him,
superstar.
hasn't he, Tony?
Excuse me.
Like Arne Slot, like I always thought Curtis Jones, like for years when he was, for years, he's only been around a few years, but I always thought he must be good because he's in the side. But when's he going to show it? Like is he he shows?
Is he that
glimpses?
level? Yeah.
But
Bit
like
like
this-
Harvey Elliott in some ways.
Yes.
Good in games. Like really
Harvey
good. He's been
Elliott's a
unlucky
good
with.
He's kind of gone off the boil, Harvey Elliott. You haven't really seen much of him.
No, he
hasn't
broke
had
his
a
leg.
chance.
Did
He
he?
just came back this week, I think, didn't he,
Yeah,
from
he
a
was
leg
only-
break?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he came on. Yeah.
Harvey Elliott came on, yeah.
Yeah. But he broke his leg.
Yeah.
I only know it because they said it before as he came on. They said he
Okay.
came back from a broken foot or leg or something like that.
Because he was good. I liked him.
Yeah,
I
I
thought
think he broke
Jurgen
his
Klopp always
foot.
had a soft spot for him.
Did. But yeah, Curtis this
He's
season
a good
is
player,
just
Harvey Elliott.
a great player.
Very good player. But again, bit Curtis Jonesy where they kind of in out. They never really.
But again, remember these owners are the Moneyball guys as well. So
Yeah.
they look at it completely different, which is, so they see things, they're very statistically based and that guy can do this and he can do that. So then together can exponentially do more. And, I think that's why as a team, we look great. And maybe the individuals, you go, well, is he really world class? But when you stick them all together, they're devastating.
Well, that's one of my points.
Yeah.
Have Liverpool got many stars in that team? Like, I look at Liverpool's team and take out the three that are potentially going,
Alisson.
and Alisson. Do they have like world-class players or a team? The way I look at that is, would a lot of Liverpool's team get in other top clubs? And I don't think they do.
I'd say McAllister's a very good player.
What, you think he'd go and get in the City or Real Madrid or?
I mean,
I don't think so.
I do.
McAllister,
I think
do.
McAllister.
I think he's a really good player, but I don't
think-
think he goes and plays over Camavinga in.
I would choose McAllister. I think McAllister's. I mean, he is his vision. He's a great set piece taker. He can bang it in from 30 yards out.
I mean, he's a good player. I just don't think he's that level.
I would take McAllister at Chelsea tomorrow.
Would you?
Yeah, I would.
I think he's a good player.
I
Don't get me
think
wrong.
McAllister gets.
No, I've always
in
rated
the Prem.
McAllister, even at Brighton. I always rated him, and he had a great World Cup. He plays well for Argentina. I think he's a good one.
Luis Diaz this season has been unbelievable as well. I mean, he's hot
and cold, though.
Yeah.
He'll have like.
so
Do you know who
dangerous.
he reminds me of? He is the Colombian Pulisic.
On that note, we are wrapping it up there. We're going to take a quick break. Sam has got to jet off because he's
Yeah.
actually got to go to work.
Yes, we do.
We didn't even get to Chelsea, so
I
we're
know.
going to discuss Chelsea,
you guys
and
can
because
do
we
it
don't
for
want
me.
you.
By the way,
banging
on that note, Chelsea.
Yeah,
might
we
be-
don't want you here when we're talking about Chelsea, Sam.
Yeah, exactly, Tony. We know you're going to be full of nice words about Chelsea.
We'll see you all back here in 2 minutes.
Yes.
Welcome back to Football or Soccer. We've taken a quick short break. Sam's had to get off to work, so he's missing the Chelsea bit, which I couldn't listen to him crowing on about too much. So the Chelsea, good win again.
They look dangerous, Chelsea. They gave us the hardest game, I think, apart from Arsenal, because obviously.
Yeah, I
tough,
think they've
but
been good
Chelsea
this year.
Chelsea, like they're coming into it, don't they?
Yeah, they're a good young team. We've got to say, Villa haven't won in 8.
Yeah, I know. That's a surprise.
It is, because everyone, even at the beginning of the season, was still saying
Yeah.
Villa are a team.
And Emery's clearly a.
And I
world-class.
did as well. I really like Villa as well.
Yeah.
But I suppose everyone's going to say Champions League, has it cost them?
Yeah.
It's not going right at the minute, though, is it?
No, they got.
They're not going to,
battered.
surely not going to get rid of him.
He's one of those. He's very difficult to sack, and he's probably. How do you say that nice? Well, he's probably better than. He could probably walk into more illustrious clubs potentially.
Yeah, I just,
You know.
I actually really fancy Villa to hit that top 4 again this year, but it's not happening.
Doesn't look
I
like
think
it now.
Chelsea will get it this year.
Oh, I do too. I think Chelsea could surprise a few people this year.
And the one that's surprising everyone is Nicholas Jackson. This guy keeps scoring, doesn't he? Everyone
Yeah.
thought he was rubbish, to be fair. Everyone
Yeah.
wrote him off.
Yeah.
But they got some good players there. Cole Palmer, I think, is a great player.
Scored another great goal, didn't he?
Madueke looks good. And Cuckoo, good player. So I think they're doing right there. And Maresca's another one that's kind of just gone under the radar.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone realised until this week that Chelsea were doing as well as they are.
Yeah. No, they second?
Second, they're joint second on alphabetical order. Because they've got the same goals for, same goals against, and Arsenal are second because they're
I don't
an
think
A.
it'll finish that way. But
I wonder what happens there.
I don't know. So what?
I think it must be a
who
playoff or
scored the
something.
most or who won the individual games if it's all level at the end of the season.
I think the first one is goals for. Who scores the most?
No, but they're
goals?
exactly the same. Goals for, goals
I
against.
know,
exactly
but I
the
mean,
same.
if it finished that way, though, I mean, I think that's the first thing it goes on, and then I don't. It's never happened, has it? Has it ever happened?
And
that
it never will. I'm pretty
team-
certain.
There was
It never
it was
will.
close. There was a scenario where Liverpool, and it was not like a million miles with Liverpool and Man City a season or two back. I remember where you go,
Yeah.
that actually could happen, and I think we drew both the games, and it could have been a play. I mean, it was a lot of ifs and buts and maybes, but
Yeah, it was with 2 or 3 games to go, wasn't it?
yeah,
When everyone was like, "Well, what if this? What if that?" Yeah, but it must be a playoff. It must be.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've also seen Man United, obviously, won 4-0 at the weekend.
Yeah.
They won in the week.
Yeah.
I watched both games, actually, and I've got to say, Man United are crap. The team they
That
played
will
in the
never
week.
not be funny. To me, at least. Sorry.
I don't care what anyone tells me because I'm seeing now Man United are back. Amarin's the man. He's done this and that. They played Bodo Glint, I think their name was, who I've never ever heard of. I'm sure neither of you two.
No.
Struggled. They actually got battered by them, but won the game.
Really?
And like absolutely battered.
Yeah.
And then they played Everton, who are possibly up there with the worst team in the
Yeah,
league.
they've had a tough.
Do you know
couple of
what?
seasons.
This might be Everton's year to
What, to go down?
finally be put out of their misery.
I still don't think so. I think there's other worse teams than them. I think they're going to be
There are
lucky
definitely
yet
worse
again.
teams,
Yeah.
but for how long? I think we've spoken about this before. Since I was about 10 years old, I've been wanting Everton to not even get relegated, just to be put out of their misery because their fans are going through hell. At least
I
if
feel
they
sorry
go
for
to
them.
the
I really like
championship.
Everton. They're
I
just
like them as well.
They're a decent club. They're old
I
school.
like them. Obviously, like them to a point, but they're a big club. They're like a Villa or a Newcastle or even a Forest, like a proper club. They're a proper football club.
Yeah.
But I'm just sick to death of hearing because obviously
and
I know
they're
a
so
lot of Everton
boring to
fans.
watch.
Yeah.
I've
They're
never
dross.
even. I
The
can't
West
remember
Ham
the last
Everton
time I
game the
would
other
watch
week
them.
was just summed up both teams.
Really?
2 disgraceful teams that could have played forever and were never going to win.
Wow.
I don't know what Sean Dyche is going to do there. If I'm Everton, I'd actually take David Moyes. I'd get him back there now.
Yeah, I would too. I agree
Like,
with
I
that.
think
I would too.
Yeah.
I like Sean Dyche.
And I think he'd go.
It's not working though.
No.
No,
He keeps them up.
I think Moyes would go as well. I think Moyes would go back there.
Yeah, so do I. I think by all accounts, I think he was close for the Leicester job, which they've taken Ruud van Nistelrooy, which I don't know if they'll regret that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's a roll of the dice, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. Ruud looked. Well, he was adored at Man United, but he did well when he took over for the 3 or 4 games.
He beat Leicester in 2 of those.
Yeah.
Another bad sides.
that's
Yeah, look,
fair.
you got by, but they did look all right. They were free flying. I think it's very different having the players that Man United have got available to what Leicester's got available. Like Leicester's best striker still was Jamie Vardy, who's what is he, 36 now?
Yeah.
So I think it's a bit of a different thing. Let's see if Roux can do it with a team like that. I think he's given himself a bit of a
I'm
tough
interested to
job.
see how he does because he was such an inspirational, incredible player. He's going to have.
He looked the part
Yeah,
in Man United. I've got to say,
yeah.
like, he did look the part.
You know, he's going to have the.
He does
you know,
look the
respect
part.
of
Yeah,
the
you're
players,
right.
isn't he?
Yeah,
And he did
another
okay in
team that
Holland,
was-
didn't he?
You won?
Didn't he? He won a championship in Holland as well.
Yeah, PSV he was with, wasn't he?
Yeah. He won the
think
league
another
with them.
team that was great the weekend was Brentford again.
Go on,
I think-
I'll leave that to you. I didn't watch that game.
It's got another. I can't think of his name. It's off the top of my head, but he's got a hat trick.
Really?
He left-sided forward, came in, scored a hat trick.
Yeah.
I love Brentford. I love Thomas Frank.
Yeah.
I
like
him.
him.
I like him a lot.
Great.
He's great.
Yeah, he looks personable.
Yeah.
He's doing, I think, some of their Mbeumo and Wissa, I think someone will come in and buy them.
Yeah.
Apparently, I heard a Newcastle fan talking about bringing Mbeumo to Newcastle. I'd love West Ham to get him.
Really?
Because he's a top. They haven't missed Tony one day.
No.
So they look good. I think Thomas Frank is going to be in line for a good job soon.
Agreed.
What he's doing
Yeah, me
there.
too.
I think they're doing some good things. Gary O'Neill at Wolves had a a shitter at Bournemouth. They got
Again.
battered. The first ever Premier League hat trick of penalties.
Yeah, I saw that.
Again, playing out of the back. So that was. I think Wolves are in for it this year. They got that
Clive, wasn't it, who scored the 3 pens?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cliver, and they were 3 good pens as well.
So let me ask you this, speaking of managers, what do you make of Pep's behaviour the last few weeks and how he's dealing with these this incredibly horrible period of time that they're having, which won't last, but I think his behaviour's been quite interesting.
I think it's been quite good, actually.
Go on.
So I think he's taken defeat quite well. And I think he's not blaming. And I actually expected him to blame. Obviously, we saw yesterday where he done the 6 to, which was a crack. Like, listen,
well,
he's
I've got an
winner.
opinion on that. I'll let you, and I want to hear yours as well. Like, I thought that was super interesting.
I think.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I do. And he did have a bit of a dig at Liverpool after, though, didn't he? He kind of said didn't expect it from Liverpool fans.
That's the interesting bit.
It's the old dad saying, I'm a bit disappointed. I'm not angry, I'm disappointed.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing with that. Like, when the Liverpool fans, and whether you're a Liverpool fan or not, they are among the most sophisticated and fair fans in the world. I mean, they and so clearly that was banter and irony when they're saying you're going to get sacked. That's not them being serious. That's clearly, and I could see he was smiling when they were saying. I thought, oh, he gets it, and that's cool. And then when he put the 6 up, I was like, oh, have they got him? Like, is that
they had
Kevin
him.
Keegan in disguise, or is that like?
I actually wish they'd carried on a bit more because they did kind of stop it then.
Yeah.
But I wish he'd have kind of they'd given it more because I think we could have seen a full
But
crack
here's
yesterday.
the thing, like I thought it was funny. I thought he was having a bit of banter back. But then afterwards when he goes, I didn't expect that. I was like, oh no, he was taking it seriously.
Yeah.
And they got him under his... I'm like... And I thought that was the most interesting thing of all because especially a manager like Pep, you expect him to be, at least, a little bit more stoic in those things. Like, he's Pep Guardiola.
But you
Doesn't
remember,
matter
he's
what
never
the fans
lost
say.
before, though.
No, but this is the thing, though. Like, he's meant to be the best manager in the world. He should be impervious to what the fans say, and apart from taking the piss back and doing that, which I thought was actually great. But then again, I didn't expect that from Liverpool fans. Well, they were taking the piss, mate. Like, come on.
They didn't do it at 1-0. They'd done it at 2-0. So basically saying they weren't so sure at 1-0, at 2-0.
Well, I mean, it's not obviously it's not Kevin Keegan, and it's not quite Rafa Benitez either. When he had
not even close. Not even close.
Was that with Mourinho, Benitez?
No, that was Benitez with Alex Ferguson.
Yeah.
And it's one of them
Benitez
again. He
with
starts
Ferguson
going back, and then you look at the TV going,
he had
stop
a
it.
list.
Don't do it, mate. Don't do it.
If you've seen the videos of the, in the crowd and stuff like that, when he does this to them, everyone just starts laughing and goes, ah. It was just funny. Like, I don't think it was anything more than that.
But did you see his face this week in the Champions League?
Well, that's the other thing I want to ask you about. Yeah.
That was quite weird.
That's weird. And that's a bit like, I don't know.
He's under pressure.
He's under pressure, but again, like,
I think with himself.
Pep's not under pressure.
It's a very odd thing to do that. Scratch yourself to smithereens and then go on television with cuts all over your face. I mean, that's just an odd decision.
And then the old woke brigade got him. So he had to go out and apologise because he said he was self-harming. Stuff.
Yeah,
he should have just said bollocks for that, I've got to say.
Daft.
Yeah. That's just ridiculous. Like, because he was making a joke of it. I'm self-harming. Like, there was a joke that he made, and then he had to come out and apologise, saying, "Oh, self-harm's very." They're like,
I mean, he did. To be fair, he didn't have to come out and apologise. Somebody probably said, because it was a tweet, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, listen, the fella is never going to be under pressure at Man City, even if he finishes 10th for the next 2 seasons.
Yeah.
They adore him. They adore him, and they should do
And
as
rightly
well.
so.
I don't.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
that?
And rightly so.
And rightly so. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think he's under any pressure. I think the pressure he's under is the pressure he puts himself under because the man's
Yeah.
a winner.
Yeah,
He's
because
an
what you've
animal,
got to remember, he's also
you know?
was that way as a player. Like he's never
Yeah.
experienced this in his life.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
think I think he came
Yeah,
through La
that's
Masia,
true.
didn't he? Like, I think he came through Barca. I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, he did.
He's never used to losing.
No.
His whole life. Everything he wants, any job he wants,
That's
anything.
why he took another contract, didn't he? That's interesting, because again, he doesn't want to leave it. I think he's got wind that this season might not be, and it still might be, by the way. I don't even want to utter those words as a Liverpool fan with City, Jesus. But he obviously wants to leave on the right note, and he feels like he might need another season to get it to that point.
I think City are at a point where they need a rebuild. I think he's probably learned a lot about. I like that he's not throwing the players under the bus. Actually, he's actually saying, "Look, we've lost players," but he said, "I don't want to make
That's
excuses."
what good managers do, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's why
but
Mourinho was always amazing. He always made it
Him.
about him.
Yeah,
and the players
and
were
Alex
able to-
Ferguson as well.
100%. Never threw the players.
So
under the bus.
I thought that was quite good. I think he just said over the years I've probably asked too much.
Yeah.
And I think they probably are. There's probably a few there that he needs to be probably a bit ruthless with this year.
Yeah.
Which Carl Walker's not looking great at the minute. As good as a servant as he's been to City.
Yeah.
Grealish
Same with
hasn't
De Bruyne.
performed for many years. De Bruyne's looks like he's gonna go this year.
Yeah.
And I think we got to look at, because they obviously have got De Bruyne's replacement there in Foden,
Yeah.
who is having a nightmare of a season by his standards.
I know it's great, isn't it?
I love Foden.
Sorry.
I love him. And
I do too.
He just isn't. He isn't doing it, is he?
No, and long may that continue, unless he's got an England shirt.
Yeah. Long may
Yeah,
that
but he's
continue.
not doing it for England either, is he? He's kind of lost his England place as well. So,
Well, same as Grealish, by the way. Grealish, for some bizarre reason, is just, I don't know why he hasn't hit the heights that he should be hitting. Because Grealish is
I look at
it's confidence,
Grealish.
player.
I've looked at
never really
Grealish
played
the
it.
last few years, and the bit that strikes me is the first year when he got pissed on the parade.
Yeah.
Doing that.
Yeah.
Then he done it the second year, and
He
it's
might
become a
regret
thing.
that, mightn't he?
And I actually thought at the time they'd get rid of him because of that. Because ultimately it doesn't look very good, does it? You're
Doesn't.
supposed to be a professional, and you're
No, it's
okay
not a good
doing all
look.
that if your performances are still amazing. But he hasn't. Look, I suppose when he was at Villa, the team revolved around him.
Yeah.
At City, he's put out to the left wing. He's not allowed to move from his spot. Maybe it doesn't suit him as well. So many
Yeah.
players have gone City and struggled. I don't think he's struggled, but I don't think he's ever been Villa Grealish
No.
at thingy. And I think you'll probably see him move. I could see him going somewhere like Spurs.
I could see him going back to Villa.
Villa.
Maybe,
yeah.
actually, you know what? Maybe Emery wouldn't even have him. Maybe he wouldn't even have him because this, getting wasted on the team bus and all that kind of stuff, that's not new for him. Remember that thing in lockdown when he got
The
arrested,
parties.
where he had like one shoe on and
Yeah.
his car was parked. Like, it's not new for him. It's a shame though, because I think he's an amazing football player. I think he's technically as good as any player in City's team.
Yeah, and I think it just comes down to hunger and what you want to do with your own career. And I think now players are not like that, as much.
We'll talk about
Not top players.
Well, look at Mo Salah. Exactly why.
Ronaldo.
I mean,
True.
he's never in the paper for the wrong reasons. Keeps himself in incredible shape. I mean, that's why again
You
going
can't have
back
a
to
career
that-
in your 40s if you're a boozer.
Correct.
It's impossible.
Correct.
Like, there's no way.
Impossible.
Correct.
I don't think there's been any.
Yeah.
No. It's too heavy on your body these days. The way these guys have to run, it's just you
Eating
can't do it.
properly, all these things,
But then
going
again,
to bed.
that goes why 32 isn't what it was years ago. Like 32 is not the same these days.
It's now 27. If
Well,
you look after
if you
yourself, right?
really
If you do
do.
the ice baths, the infrared, the yoga, the Pilates,
100%.
all these things
So people
that are
talking
available.
like Mo Salah's 32, so he shouldn't get it. Well,
you look
he's
at
not,
Ryan
he's
Giggs.
not the same. Yeah.
What was he, 40 when he finished?
Yeah.
Like at Manchester United, finished at the top level. Okay, he's a bit part player at the end, but that is incredible.
Yeah.
I don't think these younger players are as professional anymore.
Well, there's a lot of distractions, isn't there? And there's
money's the biggest thing, I
It
suppose.
is, yeah. I mean, that's a whole other podcast probably, or a whole other episode. But yeah, it's. And again, to go back to Mo, that's why you might want to keep hold of him, because it's hard to get a guy that's so professional, so good, and so fit, and so efficient. I mean, I hope we can find a way.
Yeah. On that note, I'm going to finish it up. We will be back on Friday, so you can listen to the episodes, Football or Soccer Podcast, on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. And we will be back on Friday. We've added in a second episode, which we're going to film right now, which is the Q&A episode. So we will see you all Friday. Tone, I'll see you soon.
See you, boys.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.